Yeah, the boys have started some games really well. I think we felt really well prepared for last week, and when you play away, Adelaide that's about as hostile as it gets at the moment. That stadium is a phenomenal place to play football, and being on the other end of it, every time we play there, you always want to get off to a good start, and we put 3 on the board pretty quickly, but they equalised it, so we had some challenges in the game.
Fags, when you sent your boys out to play on Saturday night, what was your level of confidence that they were still ready, willing and able to get it done and continue this premiership defence?
Yes, Jerry, we've been through quite a few battles this year and challenges. So in the back of my mind, I've sort of always been wondering, are we just going to get to that point where we run out of gas? But the great part about it, I could tell from pretty early in the game, even though the Suns got the jump, that the boys were keen to keep their season alive and keep going. So we've taken a lot of confidence out of that performance. We've recovered well from it. We didn't get any injuries on the weekend. So I think we're in as good a shape as we can be going into the game against Collingwood on Saturday night.
How big a performance is it? As there hadn't been a premiership team win a final for so many years, let alone get to a preliminary final. How big an effort has it been to shoulder it all and get back here? I suppose that's probably something more that other people can maybe judge. I mean, we've just been very week by week. We've had obviously a challenging draw coming into finals. We played mostly all the teams that are in the top 8 or were fighting for a spot to get in there. So it's been hard fought to get there, which is good in a way. And we're just looking forward to seeing how we go this week, enjoying the opportunity that we've created for ourselves and giving it our best shot. Who knows how far we can go, but we haven't got any limits on ourselves, that's for sure.
What do you say to your boys from a preliminary final point of view? Your record's spectacular as a player, first as a coach. What do you say to them?
We had a bit of a chat about the event of it all today, and to me, preliminary final weekends are so loud. Out of the 98,000 that'll probably be there, probably 95,000 barrack for one of the teams. A bit different to the next week, and so the noise, the silence when it's that time, and the noise for either team scoring is phenomenal. It's one of the great games to play in. So embrace the experience and enjoy everything that it brings, but don't forget it comes down to playing the right way at the right time.
The confidence that you both must have in your group to handle whatever gets put in front of them, though. I mean, this is where your team's at right now. It's like we sort of know what we're going to get from them, whether it's going to be good enough, the game will determine it. But that must give you great faith. I mean, here's your history. You seem to get your head around it pretty well. Are you confident in your group's ability to handle it?
I think we've had a lot of, a bit like Fags, we've had a lot of stresses and challenges through the year and a lot of close games that have gone our way, and then some other ones that haven't. We haven't played many games where you've got to sit back and enjoy the last 10 minutes of the game. Just about every game we've played has been still going right to the wire. So I think our players are pretty feeling confident about the fitness levels in the team and how we can run out a game. But, we come up against a pretty seasoned outfit that I don't think they'll be getting too tight either.
We'll talk about the rivalry in a moment. So, Fags, tell me about Josh Dunkley, and we just talked about him earlier. In terms, I love it when we hear stories about players that come into the coach's office and say, give me him. In this instance, I want Rao because of what had happened previously. Is that how it happened, or is that just a bit apocryphal, or talk us through that?
No, Josh is a very proud man, and we've played 3 games against the Gold Coast this year. Back in round 8, Josh had the job on Rao and I think kept him to 1 clearance, and then in round 20 when we played him, Josh had the job on Rao, and Rao had 15 clearances, and Josh was none too happy about that, and I think he was just waiting for this opportunity. He's an extreme competitor, and he doesn't like lowering his colours to anyone, even though that happens from time to time. And he was pretty quick to come in last week and say, if you're okay with it, I want to take Rao. So that's the pathway we went down, and he didn't let us down. He had 18 tackles and did some superb defensive work as well as help with our offence. And I think according to our statistics, he had 24 tackles. But there you go. It was a big effort. I'd never seen that before.
No, it was unbelievable. I thought he was just so pivotal to what you were doing on the night, tackling them into submission as a team.
Yeah.
Are you waiting for him to wander in this week and put a name up on the board?
I'm not sure whether he will or not. I mean, the last time we played, he did some work on Nick Dacos around stoppages. He's a really hard matchup, so we'll have a bit of a talk about whether that happens again or it doesn't. But we always know that with Josh, we can go to it in the middle of a game and he'll do his best to get the job done, whatever it is.
The rivalries here are absolutely perfect, Fags, as you played probably the best grand final since 1970 against this team 2 years ago, and the recent encounters have been enthralling. What's your view, as these things live sort of between clubs sometimes, but this is between player groups? What's your view of the rivalry with Collingwood right now?
Oh, look, I think it's a strong, very, very, very strong rivalry. It's been building over the last 2 or 3 years. Obviously, that grand final has brought it to a head. Collingwood had been able to win the next few games after that grand final, and then we were able to get a win the last time that we played. You know, we're very disappointed about what happened in 2023, and it's still in the back of our players' minds, even though we were able to salute last year. What happened in 2023 was a real disappointment, so hopefully that fires us up for this week, and we can produce our best footy, because that's what we'll need to do against Collingwood, who will be there in front of about 90,000 of their fans, I guess, and they'll be screaming their lungs out, so it'll be a loud stadium, and there'll be a lot of pressure on.
So many generations of Hawks and Cats have been rivals from 63 to the 80s and 90s. Your generation as a player, now it renews again. What has the rivalry meant to you before we talk about the club?
I mean, historically, my playing career, we obviously won the 08 premiership, probably against the odds that year, and then I think they won 10 in a row after that. So there's actually there's some couple of great moments, the preliminary final in 2013 and the grand final. But we lost the final after the siren, and we lost that 10 in a row, and most of those were close games. And actually, ironically, Fags was a big part of turning that all around. So you can reflect on all of that, and I would say we probably have 8 or 10 of our players are Hawks fans when they were kids, and it's right in the era when they were watching footy and loving footy and living by it. So you know, guys like Dylan Moore and Jack Scrimshaw, I think they have to remember that they're players still and not just a part of the scenery this week.
What is it about Geelong? I mean, their record's pretty good against you, and we know Chris Scott, hard to coach against. What is it about them that makes them such a difficult opposition?
I mean, they're just so consistently good. I mentioned in my press conference after the game, they're annoyingly good. I think everyone is pretty sick of seeing them at this time of year. But I mean, the same could be said for arguably all 4 clubs that are here at the moment. So hopefully it's our turn to send them off. But you know, they're pretty consistent in the way they go about it. They got some really role-driven players who are enormously talented, and Chris does a good job of getting the best out of whatever the talents of his players are.
On an injury front, were you all there when the moment happened to Luke Bruce on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously filled, most of us, with melancholy, and but there was a strange bit of beauty about it. You know, we went down into the rooms, and you know, David Hale and myself and Jared Ruffhead and Taylor Duray, who was with the Bulldogs, and you know, Jack Gunston. There was probably 6 or 7 of old premiership teammates who all sat in the change rooms with him, and then a whole bunch of the current players that were there. And we all sat in there with him and watched him get strapped up and get sorted out. And he was amazingly pragmatic. He was already saying, you know, I've had a great run. I've never missed more than 6 or 8 games in a row. You know, the game doesn't owe me anything. I'll be fine. So other than poor Anthea, who's going to have to look after him for another 6 months when she's meant to be getting looked after now, but he'll have surgery, I think, tomorrow. So you know, it's not a great way for him to finish, but he's been a phenomenal player for us.
He was your travelling emergency. If you had an injury, would he have been a chance to play?
Yeah, he certainly would have. We came out of the injury front pretty strong out of the weekend, but he was right in the mix for performances, particularly around the sub role. We think there's a bit of an X factor there, which he always brought a level of stability to it. I think CJ's doing a fabulous job of that at the moment, but it wouldn't have taken much to get him in the side.
You had a couple that were, you just had to check up on, so Gunston and...
Yeah, Gunston, Guinea, and they and probably Jarman, they all did a really good job getting up for the weekend, and the 6-day break probably meant they just got to the line. So I'm really pleased we're able to give them a little bit of time off at the end of the game, and they all recovered well, and scans all clear. So pretty clean bill of health for this week.
You sweat on scans at this time of year, I'm sure.
I did.